Welcome to the Gamers Roundtable. This is episode what? We're hitting 47 now of the Gamers Roundtable. We are gamers that talk about games. In case you guys don't know what we are, if you've just stumbled upon across us for the first time, and if you do, welcome back. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And people coming back will know that you can ask questions at the side. We've got a live Q&A going on at the side if you're on Google+. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment underneath, and I'll be able to see it on my comment tracker, a nifty little device that Google gives me in the Hangout here. So we can see what you guys are saying, and you can interact with us. But before we do that, I'm going to go down the line and introduce everybody else. And we're going to go from the opposite end, Charles. It's not your turn this time.
Ooh.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Hello, Sarah, and thanks for joining. What's up, Sarah?
Hey, guys. Not much.
Just hanging out?
Yeah, I'm really, stoked.
Perfect. And now Charles gets his turn.
Oh, I get a turn now? Yay! So
So-
great that Hangouts we get turns and stuff.
And once again, if you have joined us in the past, you're going to notice our crew's a little small today. It seems that life has gotten people a little cray-cray at the moment. So we're going to just talk about things in video games without the rest today. But to start us off, I think we're going to talk about what we've been playing this week to see if there's anything new and interesting that we've found hidden in the depths of the video game world. Charles, you get to start this time. Let us know what you've been playing this week.
I have been playing Dota 2, as usual.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that I was really excited about is I was playing Ingress on the weekend. There was a major Niantic is the company that develops Ingress, major Niantic-run event in Montreal, Toronto, and Chattanooga. And the Enlightened that participated all had shirts made for it and everything.
Oh,
So
look at that
we all
fancy.
got shirts
Fancy
too.
now.
Yeah. And the Enlightened, the team that I'm on, actually won the New Agent Initiative that was hosted across the 3 cities, and we completely dominated in Toronto.
Now, why did you go to Toronto and not Chattanooga?
Because I don't have a passport.
Awesome.
I take it you got a lot of the messages from Jack saying that he wanted to go to Chattanooga.
For anybody that doesn't know what Ingress is at this point, we've heard Charles mention it quite a lot. It's a phone game that basically you got to move around, you got to go to your objectives, capture portals, and there's 2 factions fighting for territory control. I think you have a good word for what the genre is.
It's it's a massively multiplayer augmented reality territory control game, basically.
AKA Turf Wars.
Yeah, Turf Wars, but you have to actually be there. And it is now available on iOS, so go find it in the App Store. In addition to
iOS.
In addition to it being available and superior on Android.
We are Android Master Race here, hashtag. Yeah, I guess there are 2 versions behind, is what I heard.
I think there are 3. They're 0.3 behind right now.
Okay, that's not terrible then.
3 versions.
All right, they'll get up there someday. It's exciting now that there's more people. I feel it's going to get very saturated, I think. I think
there's going to be a lot of people confused about how to move around in the game.
How do I move? That's awesome. All right. And I heard you got some battle wounds actually from this.
Oh
game.
yeah.
This is how serious this game gets, guys. Check this out.
Okay, so on Monday I was pulling a solo up in my region, and I actually ended up wiping out and taking a bit of damage there.
Your HP is low.
My HP is a little bit low.
You need more armor, man.
Exactly.
Chainmail.
Clearly, I should have been biking in chainmail.
Can you imagine seeing a guy biking around in chainmail?
I don't even think that I could stand in chainmail. That stuff's heavy.
Yeah, that get a little exhausting. You'd be super in shape though.
Oh yeah, 1, I would be super in shape, and 2, I would only be bruised.
There you go.
If only I were a knight.
So it seems that there's only plus sides to wearing chainmail.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Next week's episode, chainmail.
Next week's episode, everyone's just in chainmail.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully you can recover fast from that. Sarah, have you found anything exciting?
Yeah, actually, I started playing a new mobile game on my phone.
Ooh,
So it's
Is it
not
Ingress?
Candy Crush, and it's not
good.
Ingress. It's called Quiz Up. And
Oh,
so,
that one.
I've heard of that.
yeah, you guys know this. It's a trivia kind of game where you go head to head against someone else, and there's like 7 questions. You get extra points for answering quickly, and they have a million topics. So it's really cool. They have
Is
like a lot.
Sorry, is this multiplayer?
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can challenge anyone from anywhere in the world, and each like matchup is just you versus one other person.
Oh,
And
okay. So can you play your friends?
yeah, you can like challenge specifically your friends, or you can just like queue for a random match.
Good, because I want to destroy my friends with random knowledge.
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of general categories, and then there's a specific game category. I'm just looking at it now. Like, there's a Dota specific
Oh, I'd
place
lose
where
that.
you can do
Yeah, I would
that.
lose that one too.
League of Legends. Zach's actually like killing it in the Final Fantasy category. I've been playing Name That Pokemon. So it gives you a picture and 4 options, and it's just about who can name the Pokemon correctly the fastest. And I'm pretty good at it, if I say so myself.
I said so myself. All right,
Yeah.
well that's currently installing on my phone, so expect some challenges soon.
Yeah, watch out. It's addictive because the games are so short, like 30 seconds and you're done, and you just like want to keep
Okay,
winning
one
and
more,
winning.
one more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's I've always called it well, for me is because that's where it started, was the Call of Duty effect, where you're just like, okay, it's 5 minutes, one more match is fine, and then it's about 3 hours later, and then you're game over.
Shit, I gotta go to sleep.
You
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
You can't do that in games like Dota though. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna queue up. Be done in an hour and a half.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So there,
Time.
yeah, if you do one more match, you know what you're getting into in those, right?
hmm
So, I games. I've been playing just because I've got my new little Nexus 5 here that I've been playing, because I decided to go swimming with my previous Nexus 4, and phones don't like that, especially not saltwater.
Why
I've
didn't you
been
get the
playing.
swimming lessons?
Well, I tried and
Get
it
a little
it
water
resisted.
wings.
It resisted. This nice little game. Oh, and I set my phone to UK English, because that's, I like words spelt the way they're supposed to be spelt. And the dictionary is following that. But at all my settings, like my Google Now, the voice, everything is a British accent. And when I installed this game, it's called Make It Rain. So basically, you flick money off the screen. And you just try to collect money, and you use that money you have. So I'm collecting some up here to buy upgrades and stuff at the bottom that allow you to get money faster. But it's all in British pounds, so it's it confused me at first. I didn't know what I was
Spend
looking
money to get money.
Exactly. Well, and that's the basis of entrepreneurship, right? You know.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of that. And I also downloaded War Thunder on the PlayStation 4. I don't know if you guys know. It's airplane game, but there's also tank warfare as well too. But it's free to play on PlayStation 4. I don't know. I know Xbox as well, but I don't know if it was on the last gen or not. But it seems very complicated. This upgrading your planes and everything. I just want to fly a plane and shoot things. And it's trying to make me do all this stuff, so I'm gonna try to get into that. It looks really pretty, though. That's a good plus to those. It looks really pretty. And what was the other game I was playing? I totally forgot now. I can't even remember. Smash Bros, of course. That's about it. And then, of course, Blood Dragon for our game club. If there's anybody's watching, we have a game club as well that we do every once in a while after this show, the Gamers Roundtable. And we are playing through certain sections of games. We've already finished Dead Space about a month ago or so. We played through that. So you can actually go back to Gamers Roundtable show on YouTube and watch those previous episodes. And we're actually about to start Dead Space. Well, we started Dead Space, Blood Dragon, and we're making our way through that and going to start our first one soon, so you can follow along with that. So if you have Blood Dragon, you haven't played it yet, start playing that so you can keep up with us. I guess, oh yeah, talking about new games, and that kind of runs me into my first news piece. Bungie and Destiny. Destiny's beta is going to be starting on July 17th, and what's exciting about that is if you pre-ordered the game, which I have, I don't know why I did this, guys. I already have a PS4, and I just couldn't resist buying the white PlayStation 4. So now I'm going to have two PS4s in my hand. I've already put my deposit down, so there's no turning around. But with that, I got Destiny by Bungie, and it came with a code to get into the beta that starts in 2 days from now. I think that is right. 1 day, tomorrow. That starts tomorrow. They'll email codes, and what's awesome about this is they give you 3 codes, so you'll be able to share those codes with your friends so that they can play with you, which I think is pretty exciting. So if any of my friends here have a PlayStation 4 that want to jump into that beta with me, they can, but I think I'm the only one.
Sorry, Brody. Maybe
Yep.
Zach will.
All right, go tell him to go buy a PlayStation 4.
Oh, he has one. It's right here.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I
All
just
right,
turned
maybe.
it on by accident by touching it.
You turned it on by touching it.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
good at that.
Yeah, so that's super exciting. Game's looking a lot more interesting. More I see from it. When I first saw it, I wasn't interested, but I've seen a lot more now, so it's looking pretty good. And I'm getting confused. I have 2 computers here, and I keep forgetting which one all my information's on. So my next piece was also related to slightly to Bungie here. Was Halo 3. There was a final Easter egg that hadn't been discovered, and it's finally been discovered now. I find this interesting. I've always loved Easter eggs. As I've said, growing up, I would try to find Easter eggs in like Word and Excel and stuff like that. I've always loved Easter eggs. And I guess someone found out that this Easter egg only appears on December 25th. I guess there was a way to get a different loading or a different start screen. Here it is. So you click both analog sticks on the 360's controller during a level loading screen. And a lot of people have already done that, and it'll show like a halo. But if you do it specifically on December 25th, it says "Happy Birthday, Lauren" on the ring, and I guess it was a little happy birthday put in there by a developer to probably one of their girlfriends or one of the people on the development team, I think.
That would suck having a birthday on Christmas.
Yeah, it's. I know. I've always thought that because my friends have always said that they're close. They get one. That's it. They get one round of gifts, and that's it.
Yeah, like your celebrations get lumped together. No thanks.
Exactly. Before we move on to the next pieces, Matty Hernandez at the side has a question. He says, very generic question, but let's see if we can answer. What games do you guys like? Charles, I don't know if you want to answer just kind of very broadly what kind of games you guys like.
You want a broad answer, or do you want me to actually explain?
List every single game you've ever enjoyed.
No.
Give a broad answer of what you...
Okay. Broad scope answer. The games that take input from the user. No, I'll not be an asshole. I enjoy at present. I enjoy MOBA games, and I enjoy Ingress because the community is just great.
You know what I've noticed from you, Charles? I think you really enjoy games that have communities behind them.
Yeah, they're fun.
And that seems to be your thing. What I've picked out. Which is good because I love communities, and communities always have a good sense of one plan, one goal, and I like that. It's a bunch of minds getting together to do one thing. Yeah, and now give them just what's one of your top games, then you'd say, not specifically your most favorite, but name a top game. Go.
Oh, Dota 2, Ingress, League of Legends. I've been playing Awesome Knots, which is kind of fun. And games that you can just fuck around in, like I enjoy Blood Dragon, though I haven't got the time to play it. I want to play Just Cause 2. I also like games with a lot of character or player progression.
Mm-hmm.
So RPGs I like because it allows me to sort of define my own character if I'm allowed to use skill trees or whatever. Games that tell a story, I enjoy story-based games. Like I played Transistor and I loved it. I played Bastion and I loved it. Games with really good soundtracks, I enjoy. Games with really good world building, I enjoy. It's just, if there's a lot of thought put into the game, then I'm probably going to enjoy it.
All right, you A+ that question. Sarah, is there like give a broad scope of kind of what you enjoy, and then well, I guess we can scope it up in one word: Nintendo.
Oh yeah. That's definitely where I spend my most
I love
time.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. But honestly, I play games like, I don't know, like it's like little tastes of everything, and then I never finish it because I get distracted by something else that's shiny. So I don't know. I just like to dabble in like everything basically. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. You look at my game, all this row up here. About not even half of those are finished, and that's just the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I think it's ravens or whatever, they're attracted to shiny things. It's the Raven effect. Just a new shiny thing comes out, and there it is. And another one from Matty here. Which console do you like the most, or which do you wish you had? Microsoft, Sony, or all of them? Oh, left out the best one there, right? Yes.
Yeah, PC.
Well, I was gonna go with the Sega Dreamcast, but okay. Yeah. So, what would you guys say if you had to pick one company at the moment? Obviously, this can always change. That is producing the games that you enjoy the most.
Like a platform or a producer though, because those are two.
I guess give it a platform. Which Charles answer?
PC.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I would have to pick my 3DS because that really facilitates my like video game ADHD. I can like pick it up, play for 2 seconds, go down, go somewhere, play again.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I actually wasn't even thinking that for some reason. Just like, one of the big 3, right? But or 4. But yeah, I think people know I like my PlayStation side of things, my Sony things. But Microsoft's brought some good game to their games this year, so I'm expecting to see some good things from every platform. To be honest, PC's just skyrocketing right now. You look at Nintendo making their comeback at the moment. They're pushing everything they can into to making sure they don't become irrelevant and obsolete. And then you look at Microsoft trying to catch up with Sony, and then obviously there's just Sony just shooting through everything right now. So I think in the end, every platform at the moment is doing pretty good, except I don't know what's going on with the Vita right now. And to be honest, Sony actually just put out a statement and said the future for Vita is unclear.
That was their own words? Why would they say that? That's awful.
Future for Vita unclear? Okay, let's just not buy it.
Yeah, and that's kind of a scare. I saw a lot of comments. People are like, no, I think it's pretty clear what the future is.
When they say something like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of scary. But I mean, there is a good library behind it. The thing, not a lot of them are like original IPs at this point. It's just all the PlayStation 1, the PSP games that are out. But maybe they meant something else too, in the sense that what do we want this device to fully do? Pull a quote. Sorry, it's from it's Andrew House. It said, I certainly think you'll see Vita as a AAA machine in Japan where it has a different function with the console dynamic of the marketplace. That for me is a given. It's hard to say in terms of the other markets. I think remote play is still in its nascent stages. I think nascent. Look at that. I think we still need to have better understanding. We know a lot of players are embracing it and using it and seem to like the experience a lot. Necessarily, that changes that dynamic. You know, if you can play your PlayStation 4 content at will on Vita, then does that obviate the necessity of having AAA content or not? And I think that question will stay unanswered for a little bit, he says, which is kind of it's. And I see where he's saying, you know, the feature for the Vita is unclear. It's like, do we use this device as an accessory to the PlayStation? Is it a standalone that works in companionship with another device that we have? So I can see where their question lies, but you know, I would expect a company of that caliber to have some sort of outline plan that they expected from their device, right? So it's kind of disheartening in a bit as a Vita owner and someone who really loves the device to hear that we don't know what's going to happen yet. I mean, it seems that both alternatives are good, as long as there's not a third we're not doing anything with it. So as long as they continue to add function to the device as an accessory, I'm okay with that. I've already paid for the device, I've already got it, and I've used my money's worth of it. Now, if they continue to create AAA titles for it, I'm also okay with that, because now we've got great titles for this device as a standalone device, and there's already functionality to have it as a companion accessory to the PlayStation 4. So it's still kind of weird to see them to say something like that, but that's the Vita, guys. If you're thinking of one, getting one, does that scare you off from getting one, or?
I actually was going to get one. What was it, like a month ago when they released their like slim model with the Borderlands bundle, I think it was.
Yeah, my friend had that.
And I was this close to getting one, and now it's like, oh, what do I do? I'll just steal Zach's and play on it.
Yeah, but to be honest though, he is enjoying Borderlands. Like it seems like he's getting a lot of entertainment out of Borderlands on the Vita, and that alone I'd say is probably worth a price of it, that bundle, because it's been weeks and he's still talking about the game, right? So and there are other good games out there too. Now I can't even think of.
Yeah, I mostly wanted it to get because I have the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD remake for the PS3.
Yeah.
But it was also released for the Vita, and you can do some like cloud save stuff. So if I'm at home playing and then want to go on a mission, then I can just put my save on the Vita. That was kind of what I was looking forward to doing with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good device, and honestly, it's superior to the 3DS. It's just in terms of library, it's a different story, right? You know, hardware, it's indisputable, but if you don't have the software to back it up, what does that mean? You know, it's like a pretty girl with no personality. Yeah, Vita. Yeah, those are the games we play, Matty. For the question, feel free to ask more if you have any. And then three more for me, is Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. 4. Smash 4 is coming up close. It's getting closer and closer, and I myself am very excited, and it's getting hard to contain it. And they've revealed 3 new characters. So basically, this game is Marth emulator at this point, because the 3 characters that they announced was Robin. You can play both female and male. Lucina and Captain Falcon. Which we knew Captain Falcon would be there. It was just now officially he's in the game, and looking pretty badass, if I must say so myself. But yeah, Lucina looks like Marth should have been in Brawl, and Robin looks kind of like a magic Marth. So we got a lot of sword play going on, and a lot of Fire Emblem characters in there. And again, I've never played Fire Emblem myself. Have either two of you played Fire Emblem?
Yeah, I picked up Awakening for the 3DS. Not surprisingly, given our previous conversation, did not finish it, but did get pretty far with it. And it's wonderful. And if you want to just play it in its true form of Fire Emblem, you can put it on the mode where if your character dies, your character is gone. You're not getting them back. But it does have like a casual mode where you can turn that feature off and just stick around and enjoy the story, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm. So in your words, now we have obviously we got Ike, Marth, Lucina, Robin. Now what? There's a lot of swords. Now what? It seems like you'd want a little more variety, and I know there's other characters who use different weapons. I don't know. Again, I've never played it specifically myself. Are there any characters that you think would have been more exciting to see from Fire Emblem come into the game?
It's tough to think of because you gotta, like, even if I like a character, I have to think about like who would translate well for Smash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
I don't think that's. And maybe it's just Sakurai's on a different level than us, but he put the villager in as a fighter, so it's I think basically anybody's going to be able to translate into it. It's just who would you like to see, maybe just because you like the character.
yeah, I don't know. Like in Awakening, they have characters that ride like horses that do magic, like your standard role-based RPG kind of thing.
Yeah.
They also have like I don't know, this would be interesting, like a dancer class. I don't know, maybe that's like Wii Fit Trainer, but I don't know. The swords is the most like awesome way to go. So.
Well, we'll see, and I'm actually, to be honest, looking forward to Lucina. She looks like she's got a pretty good moveset on her there, so we'll see. But yeah, hype for Smash 4, October for 3DS and December for the Wii U version. And two more things. One just small one. Final Fantasy Explorers has set to be released in Japan this winter. And I don't remember if I saw or not if there is a North American.
I'm not seeing anything on first glance.
Yeah, sorry. No, it remains unconfirmed for Western release, despite Square Enix recently trademarking its name in North America and Europe. So it looks like they've got plans, hopefully. At least they're putting some groundwork there for it. That'd be good for our Final Fantasy guys who aren't here today, both Zach and Eric. And Manny? Manny's first in line to get it. Yeah, so there's that. And my last one, kind of interesting. And I think you guys saw this beforehand, but I'm going to say his name wrong. But Noriega, he's an ex-dictator of Panama, is suing Activision over Call of Duty, Black Ops 2. I guess, which is really strange to see. I mean, we see people suing people all the time over, characters and likeness and stuff like that in video games, but this is just kind of a strange one, I guess, because his image was used in the game without his permission. He's claiming that that this game is using his likeness and making revenue off of making revenue that they wouldn't have made if they hadn't used his name or his likeness, and he wants compensation for lost revenue, which doesn't make sense because he doesn't make money off of being him famous like a regular celebrity would. So it's kind of a strange claim.
This just in. We're getting sued by the ex-dictator of Panama for pronouncing his name wrong, and they want some of our revenues.
Okay, I'll gladly give them 100% of our revenue.
Seriously, why is that a thing?
So the lawsuit specifically states that it was a blatant misuse, unlawful exploitation, and misappropriation for economic gain.
You sure he's not an ex-dictator of the U.S. or something? Because this is the kind of shit that they do in the U.S.
and the funny thing is here, so he stated that the game depicted him as the culprit of numerous fictional heinous crimes, creating the false impression that defendants are authorized to use plaintiff's image and likeness. This caused plaintiffs to receive profits they would not have otherwise received. And he's wishing to collect punitive damages for lost profits. It's just funny that he's saying that this game put him in such a bad light, but it was his likeness. So basically, he's saying himself that he's a bad person.
Well,
Yeah,
and
pretty
it is
much.
fictional too, right? So if it's not true,
It's
then
not his likeness.
yeah, that's confusing. I don't like that.
Well, could they just patch it overnight and be like, oh, by the way, instead of
Put in a different character model, yeah.
Just put a different character model.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he's claiming that, that means he's claiming that he is a bad person. So it's kind of, I don't know what he's trying to get out of this.
Money is worth more than his pride, I guess.
I mean, he is an ex-dictator. It's not like he's making money off of that. I'm sure his pension isn't all that great.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's strange. I just thought it was interesting to see that. It was a weird one. As for news, that's the end of my my news articles. Now I know you guys have a couple too you want to bring up. So I don't know, Sarah, if you want to shout out some news.
Yeah, so I just did a quick scan of the interwebs today, but one thing that is totally not like new news, but it was new to me today, was that one of my favorite bloggers is making a book out of basically his blog, and it's just like going to be a shameless plug here, psychologyofgames.com. This guy, Jamie Madigan, I think he writes for like a bunch of other gaming-related blogs and news sites, but this is his own, and it's interesting if you give a crap about how games like manipulate your mind and why people play Candy Crush and stuff like that. It's really well done.
Well, people play Candy Crush because they have a complete disregard for humanity.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. That's gonna be a topic later.
But is he basing then this book off of his own research, or is this things that he's researched up on the interwebs?
So most of his blogs, what he does is he takes like theories from psychology as well as actual like research reports that are published in psychology journals and cites them. So it's a nice in between of like, I don't know, pop psychology mixed with video games, but it's pretty in depth considering what it is, and so he like puts his footnotes at the end of all the blogs, and you can read further into the studies if you'd like. It's quite good.
Okay, so it's kind of a mix between a research and a personal.
Yeah, like more like secondary research plus good personality and color.
Okay, cool. What's do we know the name of the book?
No. A year ago, he like tweeted it out, being like, "Yo, guys, what do I name my book?" And I came up with something terrible and replied to him like, "Call it Game Brain or something." I don't know. It was awful. But as far as I know, he has not released a title.
Okay. Well, if that is that does come out anytime soon, where it does have a name, make sure you give that to us on the podcast. We can shout that out. Give him a shout out. I had something I was gonna say, and I forgot what it is. So until I remember, just with your next piece.
So one thing, let's see here. Oh, this was interesting because I hadn't heard of this. Is that apparently there's a documentary that started on Kickstarter called Video Games, the movie.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, so it's coming out this week, and some early reviews are out. I skim-read the Kotaku one. Not so great overall. I think it's more for an audience who knows literally nothing about video games and wants to get a digest of what the heck they are in an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I've heard from it. I didn't even watch the trailer just because of the things I heard from it. That I guess it doesn't go really too in depth with the actual process behind making video games, how grueling it can be, how cumbersome and how stressful that environment is. And it's kind of, as you said, an introductory to the video game world for people that are more layman on the topic than someone who really knows what actually goes on.
Yeah. And Kotaku said it's kind of like fanboyish as well, in the sense it's just all rah rah, video games are great. You know, like a true documentary should be more robust in terms of what it covers. So that's interesting, but I mean, haven't seen it, so.
And funnily enough, it's produced by Zach Braff, and
I love Zach Braff.
and the funny thing is, when I saw Zach B for instantly, I thought it was Zach. Well, like one of our members here on the Gamers Roundtable, and so his counterpart there, and I'm like, wait, what? How did I not hear about this before?
How did he get enough money to produce a movie? Oh, Slayer,
This guy, he kept that one under the radar. I'm sorry. What's the release date on that then?
I read that it's the 18th. So this Friday. Yeah.
This Friday. And is it getting a theater release or is it online YouTube? What's the deal with its release?
I don't know. I mean, it's a Kickstarter, so it's kind of up in the air, I guess, right? Video.
I'm guessing if it's a Kickstarter, it's probably going to end up being a release on their website, where they could probably collect, hopefully, ad revenue, or it's just going to go straight to YouTube, is what I'm thinking, and you get the ad revenue off that.
Oh, their website has an in-theaters section, so it's like select showings in certain locations. Here in Canada, they have one in Ottawa, it appears.
Oh, let's drive 8 hours
Toronto,
up to Ottawa.
Vancouver. Yeah, so, you know, they have some showings, but not by any means like mainstream.
Does anybody have any Skinnerd shirts on? So we got Reed's Butt at the side just yelled out Leonard Skinnerd.
Oh, no.
That's always a valid argument to make.
I guess fair enough.
Why is it not valid to just say Leonard Skinnerd?
I guess fair enough. We I don't know if you guys. I went to the big music fest in our city. It was the biggest music fest in our city to date, with Aerosmith, Slash, and Big Rec, Styx, Bryan Adams, Kim Mitchell, a bunch of big names, and we saw Aerosmith, and yeah, there's quite a few Skinnerd shirts actually there. That was the relevancy I was trying to bring to that.
Oh, excuse me.
Leonard Skinnerd, rock and roll. Bless you. And news pieces. I saw some.
Oh, I have one other one that's really random.
Yeah.
Headline says Kim Kardashian's video game, so we're gonna pause there and say what the fuck.
You know, that's what I did.
Until we establish she has a video game.
Yeah, what? I didn't know this. It's for iOS.
Okay, so it's not a major platform, or like, sorry, I guess iOS is a major. I meant major gaming console platform.
Yeah, so it's free to download, but I
would
know,
click the link,
guess.
but you linked us to Huffington Post, and I'm not clicking that link.
Why? What's wrong?
I don't like their site.
Oh, whatever. News is news. Yeah, I don't know. The key point of this.
In-app purchases.
Yeah, they have crazy amounts of in-app purchases, so they're on track to earn $200 million from a Kim Kardashian iOS app. So, guys, we're in the wrong business. We need to rethink our lives a little bit.
All right, so the Gamers Roundtable app comes out next week.
You can buy a spot on the show for $5,000.
Wow, you know what? Well, okay, I was gonna say maybe not that much, but that's actually
How
not.
did I get on this show?
It's not a terrible idea. Do we get to keep our spots?
Yeah, so we only have like what, a few to sell. That's why it's got to be premium.
All right. Oh yeah, that makes sense. All right, you know what? I think a fair price. We're gonna hit the median, $2,500.
Brody, do you like money? Like, come on.
I know. I'm just trying to, be easy on people. And the economy's actually not very bad up here right now. So I guess, yeah, 4,500.
Sold.
Sold. To the Gamers Roundtable.
Then we'd have to pay that guy for pronouncing his name wrong, because we'd actually have revenue, though. That would be bad.
Yo, I would totally pay people if I pronounce their name wrong. That would totally get more people to come in. They'd make crazy names. We'd have everybody watching with crazy names, and we try to pronounce it. We're just giving money out, but we're making a lot.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
why
weird.
you have that
Somehow.
new game on your phone, the like Make It Rain
Oh
game.
yeah.
That's what you'd be doing.
Yeah, I'd literally just be
Dancing.
just whipping it. Here we go.
If
Oh,
only
yeah.
that was.
I'm using this as a prop and to advance myself in the game at the same time. Look at me.
Multitasking.
This is worse than Cookie Clicker.
Oh gosh, that
essentially
game
the same
took a
thing.
day of my life. Oh.
That's a day?
A
Yeah.
day? It
That
took
took a
Brody
day?
like three weeks of his life.
Okay, let's
No, remember? Like, next
Like,
thing.
what's your score, Brody? Is the tab still open?
it hasn't been for a while because my computer decided to reset itself. And I forgot to open it up again. I always have about 1 million tabs open on Chrome. And I actually right at the moment I have 13 tabs open. But my current status for cookies is I have 184.934 quintillion cookies.
That's quite a few.
To
You need
date,
more?
because I have reset, of all time, I have 3.994 sextillion cookies.
You have problems.
Deep-seated issues with cookies.
I've handmade 836.658 trillion cookies, which means I've clicked a lot of cookies. I was looking for. Oh, sorry. My total time spent on this is 4,441 hours. So I don't know
So a
if someone
couple
wants
of
to-
months.
I don't know if someone wants to math that, but it's a bit of time, and it's probably not good that I got this on my
You
phone
know,
now
like-
to do the same
Like
thing.
3 to 5 months, rough math. Probably 5 months of your time.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna just be proud about it and not regret anything. All right. Well, for news, I think that's it. I don't know if you guys have any other things that you think are noteworthy coming up in the news world and the gaming industry at all. But if not, we're gonna get on to some just discussion topics. We didn't actually do a list. We're trying something different this week. We're just gonna talk about certain discussion topics. So if you guys have any topics in the side there, make sure you post them to the Q&A, and we'll talk about them and we'll discuss them to the best of our ability. But if there's anything you want to hear about specifically, make sure you let us know. Put it in the YouTube comments. Put it in the Google Plus Hangout, and we'll get to that. Charles, I think you said you finally figured out what your topic was going to be and what you wanted to discuss with us.
So has anyone here ever went to a LAN party?
I have been to a LAN party, mostly with consoles, not with PCs specifically, though.
Oh right, you do like a monthly console LAN party instead of.
I technically do. I run tournaments every week. Quickly before you go, I'm going to shamelessly
Do it.
promote. I run what's called Let's Play KW. It's a video game tournament esports organization out of Kitchener-Waterloo region in Canada, Southern Ontario. So if you're in that area, make sure you go to www.letsplaykw.ca. That's going to bring you to our page. Like that, join our group, and you'll find out more about that. But yeah, every month we run video games out of a bar. So sweet, drinking, playing video games, having fun. Smash Bros is our big one, and in between we let the users vote. So make sure you come up to that if you're in the area. LPKW. But yeah, Charles.
Okay, so one of the things that I enjoy about video games so much is I have friends who every once in a while, like who have houses now. Apparently, I'm old. And every once in a while, they'll invite a whole bunch of their friends over, and we'll set up extra tables, extra chairs, and everything in their house. Set up a couple of networking hubs. Connect all of our computers together and play video games together for like a couple of days. I think one of the times we did this, we bought a keg.
That's always fun.
And so we just had like a keg and a bunch of alcohol and just drank and played video games all weekend. It was
People
probably...
Don't
What?
realize how well beer and video games go together.
They're my
Yeah,
two favorite things.
exactly. Like,
They
it's
think gamers and like, oh, antisocial. They don't go out, and people assume going out means to go out and consume adult beverages. But no, we can do it just as good as you guys can.
yeah, just as good, if not better. Because then we
Exactly.
could just destroy each other in like an electronic form of, I don't know, challenge or combat or whatever, and taunt each other without actually hurting anyone. And
Maybe
nobody's
feelings.
feeling
That's
for it.
what-
Yeah, only feelings. And even then, like it's no big deal. Like you beat me in a game, or that was hilarious, or you're an idiot, or
No, you
whatever.
called me a noob.
How dare you?
I don't know
Or,
what you guys,
what
but I've
you-
never heard that called towards me before. I don't
Or
know. I don't know
what
if that's-
what I've done before is we'll jump in like a MOBA, and there'll be 5 of us in a queue, and we'll be all in the same room drinking. And it's just like, let's see how many people we can destroy because we're all in the same room, so that we have perfect communication with each other. And even in some of those cases, we can actually just look at each other's screens, depending on how the computers are set up, and you can communicate extremely well and do a lot better because part of MOBAs is communicating and teamwork.
Well, that's how they do it at like the big tournaments and that. They're all in the same room, facing their opponents. They're set. You look at the international. They're set in a box, soundproof box, where only they can talk to each other, and then they got their coach behind them. So the coach can run around and tell them what they should be doing in that. And that's how esports. That's how those kind of things are run. So it's that I think you guys are doing it right. And to stretch, I think I have a story. I think I'm going to stretch what a LAN party kind of means. But me and my buddy, it reminds me of the time him and me. I think I may have told this to you guys before, but my buddy, we used to play Mario Kart DS a lot, like a lot. At one point we had the best scores on certain time trials in the world, and it was we would go to a restaurant near me, for you guys, Bobby O'Brien's, and we would sit in there and just jump on the Wi-Fi, get some food, and just sit there and join lobbies until we joined each other. So now I guess that technically could be called a LAN party, and then we'd get on with 2 other players, race them, and teamwork the hell out of them and just destroy them. So we'd take turns getting first and second. And it was fun, the kind of stuff we did, just wrecking people. I got blue shell. Okay, I'll drop Akko first. Take out the first guy. We both pull up. Yeah, it was fun stuff. So I think LAN party can be stretched a little bit, in the sense that it doesn't have to necessarily just be specifically over LAN.
Well,
I think it's fun
Back in the day, what you would do is you'd haul your tower, you'd haul your monitor, you'd haul all your equipment from one place to another, and it was a big ordeal to set everything up. Now there's gaming laptops. You can literally just unfold your laptop anywhere and enjoy the comfort of other human beings while you play video games.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good part. Like it's kind of like the same sense of with the tournaments I run, that it's just fun to be in the same room with a group of like-minded individuals playing a game that you all enjoy. And there's something to it that just, as I said before, I guess it's community. That it's that fun sense of community. These people are all here for one goal. We're doing one thing and having a good time. And that's what LAN parties are always better than. I could easily jump on with either one of you and play on Steam, and then we could play Dota on Steam right now. Or you could come over, we could hang out, we could play Dota, yell at each other, have fun, tell jokes, drink some beers, and there's something more magical about that humor interaction that is missing from playing online games. And it's still fun to play online. Sometimes I just want to be alone, but I still want to be able to play with my friends. I don't want to be around. I want to be able to turn it off at any point and just be alone.
And not wear pants.
Exactly. That's the biggest benefit to playing online, not having to wear pants. But yeah, there's still something awesome about going to a friend's house to play video games. It's that human interaction element that you're there enjoying the same thing, doing whatever you guys do, drinking pop, eating chips, drinking beer, whatever. playing a video game, and there's something magical about that. That's why I've really enjoyed this tournaments that we do, is because everyone's getting together just to do that, and it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the downfall of my life, aka the beginning of my obsession with video games, actually started with a story similar to Charles, but I was like maybe 14 and my brother was 12, and we would get together and play Warcraft 3 together, and we would be able to speak to each other, you know, yelling or through the phone, and like he said, like being able to pwn people hardcore because you just have that extra level of communication. So that was like half of my high school career spent doing that, and that was the beginning of the end. So
Yeah.
fond memories.
Yeah, no, and I think, you know what, this is making me want to do? Host a LAN party.
Absolutely, we should do it on the air if that's a thing.
I think that'd be totally possible. You could easily stream that. We got Twitch accounts. We got C Stovetop over there. We got myself, Leaf X. And
I've made one. I've never used it.
yeah, we could totes do that. Gamers Roundtable LAN party. I mean, I don't know how fun it'd be watching other people sit in a room drinking beer, but come join. That's.
We could just Google Hangout it, set up a TV. We don't necessarily need to see the screens and everything. Maybe
You have like a room cam, and then like our screens or something.
Yeah, I could do that. Just
Yeah.
get it all put together.
I think a good one would be, just hook someone's screen up to it, and then have a camera set on the side so you twitch it. You can see all that's going on, us having fun, and you can also watch some gameplay too.
Yeah,
I think it'd be dope.
Just
Let's
have a
make it
stream
happen.
machine. Yep, let's do it.
All right.
I'll have to learn how to play Dota because I only played it when it was on Warcraft 3. So.
I think it's going to be the best if we
also have to
all.
learn.
Yes, I think it'll be best if we all play, like, besides Charles, not knowing what the hell we're doing.
I'll lead. It's okay. It'll be like the blind leading the blind.
We'll call it total ponage, and it's just us getting wrecked.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite of what.
Oh no, it's no. There is a lot of ponage going on. It's just not the way you expected it to happen.
But by the way, speaking of Total Ownage, do you guys remember Total Ownage? Did you guys ever watch that TV show?
No.
Oh
my god, that one?
Boom! Headshot!
Oh, yes.
Is that where that comes from?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a web series, actually, that it started as called Total Ownage, PWNAGE.
No, it's
pure
Ownage. It might still be up. Hold on.
Pure Ownage. Yeah, their website's still up.
Oh, wow.
Noobs
I'm
to School
surprised.
2004.
Jeremy, there he is.
The idea, it was a web series, and then they got picked up, actually, I forget who picked them up, but they were picked up as a TV series. And you can watch all their episodes on their website, and they still had it.
Apparently, there's a movie project that they're working on now. It got its goal. It got its goal on Indiegogo.
Nice.
Cool.
Because they honestly, it's one of those ones. It really reminds me of a Trailer Park Boys feeling, but for video games, and that's why it's amazing. Watch their acting episodes. They're absolutely hilarious. I can't believe you haven't seen much of their stuff. Oh man, just make a night of it.
I thought they just disappeared.
All right, you know what? LAN party. We're watching some Pure Ownage.
Okay, looks like there's some of that going on too now. All right.
This sounds like a fabulous night.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Set a keg right in the center. Bam.
Exactly.
All right.
Keg stands while poning.
Peeps be jealous. Peeps be jealous.
Now, doesn't this sound like a fun way to spend a night or a weekend or whatever?
It does.
Yeah.
All these haters not understanding video games.
I know, right? Yeah, LAN parties. Is there anything else like you wanted to shout out about what LAN parties are? I think we just kind of
lots of ordering food in. Lots of ordering food in. It's people sleeping like on the ground because if you're doing a weekend LAN party, you tend to not have somewhere to sleep. So people will just be up all night, and like you'll wake up and they're still awake. It's just like, did you sleep? And they're like, no. I'm building a castle in Minecraft, and then he'll like pass out 3 hours later, and then bitch and complain when 5 hours, like a couple hours after that, everyone else wakes up and they're screaming at each other because something happened or whatever, and it's like, I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, well, you should have done that when everyone else was sleeping instead of building your castle.
I've definitely seen that happen at my place before too. Get up, someone's there playing Diablo. Yep, it's happened. The LAN parties, amazing, and I think one needs to happen very soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Sarah.
Nope, you have to go first.
What am I talking about? What am I talking about?
Your esports stuff.
We're going to talk about esports.
Esports?
Now, I'm very passionate about the subject, and I don't know about either you two, but I know Sarah helps me a lot with the tournaments that we run, the LPKW tournaments. And so I know obviously she's got interest in it as well too. But esports for me has almost become this thing. You know when like you watch a movie and it's just so, even though it's a happy moment, you start to cry. You know that's the feeling I get. That's the feeling I get when I'm watching someone win a grand championships in their game, even if I don't know the game. But when I watch them, I get that feeling. You know, where you're just like, holy shit, this person's their whole life they've put in, or at least most of their life they've put into this one activity, this one hobby, this one skill, and they've accomplished what they wanted to do. And I think the greatest part about it is that it can be really anybody at this point. You know, you look at your sports people, professional football players, NHL players. Some people just aren't able to get to that physical ability. They just can't do that. It is beyond what their body will ever let them do, and it's not something that they can ever attain. So when you see somebody come up and rise through using their skill, not just luck, using their skill, rise through all these other players, get to the top, and be the best at something, I think it's something really special to watch. When I was watching Evo recently, past this Sunday, and when we were watching it at McCabe's, we did a live viewing. We're watching Blaze Blue, and I know nothing about. That was actually literally the first time I've ever seen gameplay of Blaze Blue, believe it or not. But when I watch it, I'm like, this is actually a pretty interesting game, and I actually want to play it now. But it's a pretty interesting game, and good spectator sport. But when the guy won, I forget his name now, but when he won first place, when he won the grand finals, it was like so many emotions. I couldn't even tell what he was feeling, just exploding at once. He would just raise his arms up and cheer, and then he would just put his head back down in his hands and start to like almost cry, and then cheer again. And it was something special to watch someone do something like that and accomplish their goals, and make people know who he is now. At least in that community, people know who he is. He's made a name for himself, and it's something he can do. And he may not have ever been able to become a famous actor, sports player, whatever, but anybody can put their time into it and become good at any specific game, and that's why it's really special. And esports has been exploding in the past year or two even, and just absolutely rising up. You look at Evo last year, Evo this year, they're growing. We got Zenith coming up. We look at the Dota tournament coming up. It's going to be the biggest esports event in the world coming up. Well, it's been going on, but the grand finals are going to be on Monday, the 21st. Doing live stream of that as well. And if you guys haven't seen the compendium, which is the prize pool, is currently sitting at, so last time I checked, sorry, it may have gone up from now, but when I checked, 10.7 million. Absolutely unreal. So
I need to log into Dota too so that I can check my compendium. I ended up buying a compendium, so I put forward $2.50. $2.50 total.
When we look at esports, kind of at the core of it too is like what makes a specific game successful to be an esport compatible game. It's kind of tough to figure out a formula as to what works, and I found a lot of the games that ended up being esport games weren't ones that were intended to be esport games in the first place. And I've seen a couple games come up in the past few years where they've tried specifically to target that market, and now you hear nothing about them. You look at Call of Duty is one of the biggest esports. It's almost what really started. Well, not started, but it really helped push the whole esports mentality into the masses because of its huge commercial success. And that game was it was a war game, and that's what it started as. The developers probably had no idea that now they know, but initially they had no idea that it would turn into this huge ordeal where people are playing, they're traveling across the country, traveling to other continents to play in contests to win money, to be the best at this game. And now, obviously, Call of Duty, the reason Call of Duty is the same every year, or at least a little different, is because they know that. They design the game around what it is. It's not meant to change. You look at MOBAs, for instance. A lot of MOBAs are at the core very, very similar, and there are differences that separate them. But you could argue almost the same that all MOBAs are the same thing, right? And it's Activision, or sorry, I guess Activision, I guess, has the overall say. But they know that's what it is. That's their market, is the esports community. So they make their games for that. Now, it's cool to see. Again, my point was that the games that are now becoming super successful are the ones that are being backed by the companies that are making. You look at Activision making this game specifically for esports events. You look at Valve back in Dota, huge, and it's now become the biggest esport event ever. You look at Riot supporting League of Legends. There's leagues for these things now. So those are the games that become, or the esports that become the most successful. But it always seems that they're the games that never intended that from the beginning. So it's kind of cool to see that. Yeah, Dota coming up is going to be insane, and I kind of want to get in Dota now because that's kind of tempting. To the fact that you could potentially have a piece of that 10.7 mil if you win this tournament. I know there's a lot of people out there playing hours and hours and hours upon it just to be the best at this. But it makes you almost tempted, and when you see a prize pool that big, it makes you realize that this is a potential career at this point too. That if you can be the best, now I think it's a much less payoff than you look at sports. All those players are getting paid no matter what, no matter if they win or no matter if they lose, they're getting paid. Whereas esports is a huge risk. These players are only making money if they win, so it's kind of a tough risk. But I think we're going to see a lot more esports events coming up, and it becoming a viable option to have that as your job, just basically because of itself. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the esports gets bigger, now more people can stop their real jobs, or not real jobs, their jobs, and do this as their job, and then it just gets bigger and bigger, and then more people see that. So I expect, honestly, you see how big esports is now. It's going to keep getting bigger in the next few years. And I love it, and as you can tell from this speech, this monologue at the moment, I freaking love competitive gaming. Even at core, even if I'm not winning anything out of it, I have to be the best. If I have someone that's going to beat me at something, I will go home and I'll practice it, and I will make sure that I'm better the next time I meet them. And I think that's why I've been so into Smash recently, is because I'm not being the best yet. It's such a steep learning curve. There's so much to learn that I kind of got sucked into it, that now I'm stuck. I need to be better than people. And so I'm stuck trying to be better at it. But competitive gaming I love because a lot of the communities they're not testosterone-filled athletes that are going to get angry at each other. These are people all have the same common goal and they're all loving the same thing. And I find a lot of people are very friendly in these communities. You know, some communities are better than others, but I really like the people behind a lot of these communities, because everyone's there for the same thing, and they're not all getting pissed off and angry and yelling at each other all the time. So it's a good, friendly atmosphere, and you're getting to play video games, winning money potentially, right? So esports is always going to be a big thing in my heart, and I love where it's going right now. And now a question for you guys too, and for viewers. The fact that esports getting big, you see the compendium, you see some of the prize pools at some of these other events. Is that tempting at all to either of you two here or any of our viewers to maybe start getting into competitive and trying to maybe go for some of those prizes?
Charles?
Realistically, I'm nowhere near that level. The people who play these play video games professionally will practice 8 to 12 hours a day. If they're not working out or anything, some of the most the top of the professional video game players also have a workout routine that they keep to, because they basically have to be athletes in order to keep their reaction time.
Not to the same extent, but yeah, you definitely have to be in shape. You look at any of these top pro esports players, and they're all semi in shape at least. Like they're not like ripped, slobs.
but they're not ripped, but they're at least like toned to some degree.
Yeah, because to maintain a sharp mind, you need a sharp body. You know, you need to have that blood flow going. You know, you can't. If you ever notice you're having a sluggish day, you're eating chips and stuff, you just want to keep slaying around. You don't want to do stuff. It's just because your body starts to slow down, and that includes your mind too. Mm-hmm. So I've always said that you look at any of these top. I've said it to people. You look at these top players. A lot of them are pretty in shape.
Yeah, a lot of them could give real athletes a run for their money.
Mm-hmm. But it's again, you don't have to be ridiculously buff or the most crazy athletic person in the world, but you definitely you want to be in shape. But there's a lot to it, as you said. But it's at least tempting, I think, when you see something like that. It's because that stuff's, I think that's only to go up, those kind of prize pools.
Yeah, I was talking to the people that I play Dota with. Actually, as soon as you mentioned the international, one of the people that I play Dota with messaged me and asked me to play Dota with them. But they mentioned, it's like, wouldn't it be awesome if we made a team and just like participated in the Dota International? Like, just eliminated in the first bracket, and you still take home like $50,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's or
like $10,000. Yeah, it's
prize pools are so huge that no matter what, you're getting something out of it, even if you're getting in there, right? So it's becoming more viable, and that's what I was saying, more viable for people to drop what they're doing, maybe take a couple less shifts at their part-time job to go to these tournaments, to practice for these tournaments, because you're going to make that money now. Even if you don't place top 8, top 16, like you're still making a little bit of cash out of it.
Yeah, like you can stream for extra. If you get popular on the streaming, you can stream for extra revenue. You can do whatever you can to try to push up your hobby into an actual career.
Yeah, and that's the other the other side of it. As thanks for mentioning is streaming. Like you could make huge revenue just off streaming alone, and because what's cool about the community is that when these players aren't playing, they sit down and watch other people play, because then they can learn from their ability. The other night, I sat there and I watched the top 8 for Melee Evo. Like I could have kept playing with my friend, but I want to sit down and watch stuff. Went back and played with my friend. I learned something from the stream and got better. And what's kind of cool about that is everybody builds off each other, and they keep getting better and better. So you keep seeing these skill ceilings rise and rise. You look at, again, I'm going to say, because I know it the most, Melee, you look at all these mid-tier characters making it to the top now, because people are starting to build these characters up. rise to the top. Other people are learning off of that, and then they learn off that, and it's kind of a back and forth. Everybody just keeps getting better and better, whether you're streaming or playing. So streaming is this whole other element to it that people love it. People just love watching other people who play video games because in the end you're going to learn something from it too. So it's another way to make money off of it too. It's just it's a huge scene.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys that I play Dota with in Raid Call, and they were watching the international, and they mentioned it's like, oh well, why in pro games do they always go for the ranged racks first? If you go for the ranged barracks first, you get stronger ranged creeps, but they don't have a lot more power. As far as for power shift, you want to go for the melee barracks first. And we discussed it for a few minutes, and then we discovered that the reason that they go for the ranged barracks first is because the ranged barracks has less armor and doesn't regenerate. So it's something that we'd never considered before. It's like, yeah, take down the melee barracks first, because you take down the melee barracks first, you get stronger minions, and you can keep pushing. Or you can take your minor victory if you don't have as much time, go for the ranged one, and still have an impact, because any damage you put on that ranged one is going to stick.
Yeah. So it's you wouldn't have learned if you hadn't just watched.
Yeah, and they were watching pro players, and they're like, why do they keep going for the result that yields less? Why are they going for that constantly? And that's what we ended up figuring out after, like, we wouldn't have even thought of that unless we saw people doing it a lot, like pros doing it.
Yep. No, it's cool, and it kind of reminds me in the same sense of the communities that get built behind speed runs. You look at I forget which one. I think it was Ocarina of Time. Yeah, this guy did a speed run of it using glitches, using all these different techniques to skip levels, get through things, and it was built off this whole community. Someone would say, "Hey, I found out how I could do this. What can we do by using this technique?" And someone would say, "Oh, we can get through this wall." And someone would be like, "Well, if you do this technique mixed with this technique through this wall, you get here." And it's everybody learns off each other, and in the end result is everybody just keeps getting better, and the skill ceiling, as I said, just rises and rises. So it's awesome to see live streaming and actual play mixed together, and it's unreal how many tournaments I was looking at just the Smash calendar alone the other day. Every week now there's about 3 events going on at least, and about 2 to 3 major events every month. Like it's unreal, just in Smash. And you look at I was looking at some Street Fighter stuff too. Like they had a good, at least from what I saw, at least 1 event a week, and it's ridiculous. Now you combine all these different games together. There's so much going on for esports that it's so hard to even keep track of it. But it's awesome to see this, becoming full blown, going from starting at LAN parties, people playing together in their basements, to being on the main stage at like the Staples Center selling out in an hour. Like it's unreal how much it's progressed in the past even just few years, but over the last like 10, 15 or so.
And watching professional StarCraft or professional Dota, it's exciting because you get all of your action packed into a few seconds, and there's a lot going on. Even if you don't know what's happening, you can usually decipher what's going on. Like example, one of the examples that I heard from watching professional StarCraft, big units, they do a lot of damage. You can't build a lot of them, but they're big and they do damage. So when somebody snipes a big unit, they'll be like, wow, they did a good job. They took out this big thing, and they don't need to know what it's called. Like, I don't know, Colossus? It's a Colossus? It looks like a giant space giraffe. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't care. It's a big thing, and somebody destroyed it. That's a big deal.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Who was it? It was one of our sponsors there, our good friend over at Games Exchange. He said he was sitting there with his girlfriend watching the live stream from our last Smash event, and they're watching the event, watching the live stream, and his girlfriend, I guess he says, plays a couple games in that, but nothing as insane as us. And I guess he's like, okay, we'll switch over to something else now, just for her, so she wasn't bored. And I guess she said to him, no, I'm actually kind of enjoying watching this right now, just because the energy. It was someone who doesn't know anything about anything that's going on. Even he himself, he didn't know half the things that were happening, but they were enjoying watching it because it was exciting. There was people energy going on. There's colors, stuff like that. So as long as the game looks good, as well as it's entertaining, it's not slow. Like, I mean, watching chess would be okay, but it's not something that's a huge spectator sport. Right? Some of these games now are just like, they're fun to watch regardless of. As I said, I had no idea what's going on in BlazBlue at all. I'd never seen gameplay before. I was watching. I'm like, I can kind of get what they're doing, but I don't know what they're countering, what they're anticipating, what their options are at this point. But I still enjoyed watching it because there was things happening. The excitement behind it was still there. And as someone not knowing what it was cool. But it was also cool to hear him say that his girlfriend was like, no, I want to keep watching this. It's pretty exciting. Was kind of,
yeah, and
what's
video games tend to be a lot
awesome.
Video games also tend to be a lot more clear as to what's going on. Like, if you're watching, say, StarCraft, there's two armies. They're fighting. Explosions are happening. Things are dying. You'll know if one person's on top of the other because they'll have more bigger units. Or you'll know if one person's on top of the other because they'll have more units at the end. Like, it's very clear what's going on. And
that's why,
it doesn't actually require much game knowledge to follow it.
I like commentary as well too, because it gives you that sports feeling. It's these guys will explain what's going on as it's happening, and it kind of gives you almost a quick synopsis of what's going on in the moment. So even people that don't know what's going on can kind of grasp, because these guys are telling them while they're doing this or doing this. Might not get some of the lingo, but you're getting the gist of what's going on. I think commentary is a huge thing.
And even then, you don't have to worry about things like rules. Like, watching sports, you have to know what the rules are. It's like, oh, why is that a thing? Why are they stopping this gameplay? Is that a good thing? Did this person do a thing that makes sense? Like, you're watching sports, and some people are just getting outraged because they know the players, or they're getting outraged because they know the rules or something like that.
I think what helps with that is that rule sets kind of differ in video games than they do in sports, because in sports, rules govern how the game is played, whereas in esports, the game is governed how it's played based off how it's programmed. You can't change that. You can't go against that. Only other rules are kind of outside the matches. You can't pick this character. You can't go to this stage. That kind of stuff.
And even so the game like, you wouldn't notice if you didn't know anything about the game.
Exactly. So I think that helps. There's no rule set. The rule set is the game's programming, right? So I think that helps. There's nothing you really need to learn besides any advanced techniques that they're doing, right? But
and that's only if you want to learn how to play the game yourself. Like, games make for very good spectator events because the thing just pans out in front of them.
Yep. I love esports, man. Sarah, I didn't get an answer. Like, do you think it's any tempting for you at all, or would you just prefer to sit back and kind of watch these things happen? Or
I obviously like watching it because I have such a great time at our tournaments, and it's great energy, like you said, which is key. But I always have played more one-player games. It's like my chill time in my day. And like I said, the ADHD with video games totally does not allow me to put a whole bunch of time into one thing. Like, the closest I've ever gotten is every time we have a Street Fighter tournament coming up, I'll play that 3 times a week, but usually it's like, tonight I want to paint. This day I'm going to the gym. Another day I'm playing D&D. It's just every day. I like variety in my life, So I don't think I could do it myself just because of how I balance out my time.
That's fair enough. It's if you've got other interests, you gotta keep those going too. You can't. But you're right though. It's when you're practicing, because I remember when I actually started practicing for with Call of Duty to go on game battles for a while there. That's all I could do. I had no time for anything else. I had to sit there. I was pulling up maps. I was looking at maps. I was studying maps. I was creating call-outs. I was going over it with teams. learning each weapon, each weapon's reload. Like there's a lot of time that goes into learning any particular thing, because you want to know. Like a lot of these guys get down to, and actually it's cool because a lot of things I learned in Smash Brothers is actually translated into other games as well too. It's just kind of general knowledge that I learned because of that. But even just learning certain frames of an animation of a reload gun. Like I now know that once a certain frame is hit, I can sprint forward, sprint out, and the gun reloads a whole 3 seconds or faster than it would have before. And it's those little things that you carry over. But it's insane how intricate it can get, and it takes so much time to learn those things.
And for me, like, to put that much time and to gain that much knowledge in one thing, I think kind of dissolves the fun out of video games for me. Because for me, it's all about exploring a new world, hearing a new story, seeing new visuals, all of that, the idea of like newness and just gaining as much like broad knowledge instead of in-depth knowledge in one thing.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's all like personal choice. I totally respect everyone who does put in all the time and effort, but yeah, not for me.
And that's why video games are awesome. There's literally something for everyone. No matter what, there's something for every person out there. I've seen grandmas playing Brain Age on their DS.
Well, and that's actually a segue into the topic I wanted to talk to, not to cut esports short.
No, that's fine. But yeah, esports is awesome. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally awesome. But the reason I wanted you to talk about that first was so that it could segue into my topic that I wanted to bring up, which was the flip side of that, which is like the idea of casual games, having games for all different kinds of people. And what comes along with that, unfortunately, in the community sometimes is like game shaming. So game shaming is like any kind of shaming. You've heard of like fat shaming. Oh, you're so fat. Oh, you're so bad at life. Game shaming is the exact same thing. So it's like, yo, you just got Candy Crush. You are ruining society.
Yeah, but you are ruining society.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about. That's the thing.
I understand. I think if we're gonna get specifically into it, I think the reason we get upset about that game specifically is because of what it stands for. Isn't really the most optimal thing and most healthy thing for the community that we stand for. It promotes unoriginality. It promotes again microtransaction, which is not something that's looked upon in a good light. It promotes a company that's done not very good things when we should be promoting companies that are doing right things for the community. I think that's the reason we get upset about that game in specific. I do understand what you're saying about game shaming.
That's fair rationale, but what I want to point out about what you said, beyond any of your reasons, which are valid, is the idea of like our community. And it's like, we have this community of people who like to play games, but some games are good and some games are bad. And it's that drawing line, and it happens in every subculture. So, if it's like hardcore music, like that's a very specific small subculture of people who like that specific music. But, you see someone wearing a band's T-shirt, and it's like, oh, do you even know all the members' names and like all of their albums? Like, what do you even know? And people just get uppity about any fandom or any subculture and like to put down people who are like less into it, when really the focus should be just purely on the fact that people are into the same thing that you're into. And even if it's not the exact same game, it's not the exact same band, whatever it is, you should just be inclusive. Like this is like turning into a super rant, but that's why I totally brought it up. The whole thing about Candy Crush was that my coworker, she never plays games. Like, she's totally not interested in it. She makes fun of me. Like, I'm like, oh, Wednesday, I'm doing my podcast. Like, can't hang out, whatever. And she came in one day and was like, dude, I started playing a game. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And she's like, yeah, it's Candy Crush. And I was like, oh shit, that's sweet. I'm gonna play it with you just because it's going to be a shared experience, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay, I can see where he's getting now. And again, not telling you what you should do. What I'm saying, what I would have done is something like say play and then say, hey, there's actually a better alternative to this, blah blah blah. Inform the person, but obviously you don't want to scare a person away from getting into it by saying, oh, you made a bad decision, because now they're not going to want to play games. So I totally get why you said that and why you did that. And I think in this sense, again, another reason that we get more uppity out that is that it's when we say our community, yeah, there's different communities in games. Each game's has its own community, but the companies that govern our community, this community are going to see what that community is doing and take in some of those things. So if a company is doing something that community A loving their game, they have a good game. Community B is a game, say Candy Crush, and this company for Community B is doing bad things. They're not doing things that are healthy for any community, say Community A. Now, Community A's company is going to look at Community B and be like, oh, we want to do that. Bring it over to Community A, and it's going to ruin Community A.
So that's like the industry which I think is different than the community, because really what this is that people playing games is like voting for what they like with their dollars and their time. And so if this hypothetical company A notices that sketchy company B is doing well, then there's going to be some mimicry potentially. But that's the industry, which
yeah, and I think that's what I'm saying. I think that's why. I think that's why people get a little iffy when they see something like that happen, because I don't want that coming into the games that I enjoy. If that's being successful, I get scared that that's going to be implemented into the things that I enjoy, and I don't want that.
Yeah, what we're defensive about is promoting bad company practices.
Yeah.
The example of Candy Crush, the company that's responsible for Candy Crush had trademarked the word candy. Trademarked it.
Well, that's a questionable, but why that's even allowed.
They trademarked candy, and that actually went through.
It was approved. That's the issue.
It was approved.
Yeah, and that's bogus on its own, and that's not necessarily.
I know, and that's no, it was patent. Did they patent it? I don't friggin' know. It's too long ago now.
Patent a word. That's not.
But trademark, patent, whatever. But they trademarked it, and then they're trying to trademark Saga. And they went after the Banner Saga, which is a completely and totally unrelated, in any kind of respect, game. And they went after them, I think, with the legal notices and stuff. They've ripped off other people's games directly, like almost completely, and then just applied whatever sheen that they do to it, and sold it on the marketplace and sent a takedown notice to them, even though their game was the original. And like these kinds of like microtransactions so that you can play the game more, these kinds of business sort of things should never be rewarded, because it's not something that a gaming community would really formally enjoy. Like, I'm only able to play 3 games unless I spend $6 on lives or something like that. Hey, I'd like to play this game a little bit more money out of the pocket. It's something that should have a place. And people do it. And people do it, and that's why we end up getting so defensive on this topic, because we don't want other companies to be like, hey, this company's getting away with it. Let's do this.
Not based off... Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, this is the thing, is that you wouldn't. I got Candy Crush. I haven't paid a cent because I'm not a fucking idiot. But, like,
I know.
This is the thing, is that if anyone big in games did try and, like, implement microtransactions like that, then in, like, something more mainstream, then there would be a revolt. But it's this idea of, like, casual games. Like, I totally did not necessarily want to go down the road of, like, let's bash King because they're a terrible company and they shouldn't make games. But the casual segment in general...
The casual gamers will have no idea.
But, like, this is the thing, is that, you know, there's so many times I've been places and it's like, oh, you like Nintendo games, Mario, haha, like, you're not a gamer, like...
Yeah, I used to play MapleStory.
I don't think we when the other time when we said, "Oh, you're a terrible person," I don't. That was we're from the internet. We like to be sarcastic.
Oh,
We weren't
for the record, I'm
necessarily
totally not
specifically
accusing you guys. Don't.
attacking you. We were attacking the principles that company was based off. I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What I was hoping that this topic would get more into is less like one specific example or company, but more so this idea of being better than someone else because, you know, I play Call of Duty and that's a real game, and like, not Candy Crush, but like Mario is not a real game, and
a good game for you to put an example for game shaming is MapleStory. It's 2D side-scrolling, like sort of platform RPG. It's for kids. Look at the graphics. It's for children. It's all cartoony. I've heard so many things. I've heard so many negative things about it. I play it because it's fun. Screw them.
Playing games.
So for my own example for that, where I can relate, and what I think, you know, game shaming is stupid. Games, there's something for everybody, and that's what's awesome about video games. There's something for everybody. And where I get really upset is when people try to tell me that I should have gotten a game on PC instead of on console. I prefer using a controller. Why are you to tell me that I'm wrong for doing that? I can understand that. You know.
Well, you know, you can connect a controller to PC.
Yeah, but guess what? I'll defend myself, and we'll let the jury decide. Okay, I want to get Blood Dragon. What system should I get on?
You should have got it on Steam in the summer sale when it was $3.
Yeah.
That's a frugal reason, not a console reason.
But the thing is, I want to get it on my PlayStation because the controller is more comfortable.
Zach had the same thing.
So Charles says
on PC for me, and he was like, "Fuck that! I want it on PS." Like.
Yeah. So Charles says, "Well, you can put your controller into the computer." Well, I say, I don't want to have to go and build a computer.
Yeah. See, that's where some of the people are going to be hung up, because the wonderful thing about console gaming, it's beautiful actually. The games are designed for the machine. They're designed and they are optimized, and everyone is going to get the same experience between each machine. Absolutely everyone. That is the beautiful thing about consoles.
And I'm glad that you can at least say I've literally had this discussion about a week and a half ago with two people that would have no reason that a console was good, and I would say that
being said, you're all a bunch of peasants, but.
Hashtag master race.
Yeah.
But no, it's I think it comes down to when I hate when people say I'm a console gamer, I'm a PC gamer. You know what I tell people? I'm a gamer. I play games. I play video games. It doesn't matter to me whether I'm playing it on a PC or, well, maybe it does. Maybe I just don't like the control scheme. But as long as I'm playing video games, that's putting money into that industry, and in the end, it's good for everyone. It's good for all the gamers.
Yeah.
Because more people are going to make more video games.
But Brody, I have a PC and I play games on my PC, so that means everyone else should play games on their PC. Everyone. Forever.
Hypnotizing eyes.
And I think that's I completely agree with you with game shaming. That's the big thing that upsets me.
This is the thing that I do, and everyone else should do it because I said so.
Yeah, it's elitism is what it is.
Exactly. And
whether
elitism
it's
in any
consoles
sense
or genre
is not good.
It's just elitism. And like we should be positive and happy about the fact that more people are playing on different things and different types of things. And that was like kind of the touchy-feely good point I was trying to get to with this all, is that like it's not meant to make you feel bad if you've ever done it. Like we probably all have at some point made fun of someone for something that they play. But I wanted to bring to light a positive subject, which is to stop doing that.
I'm a gamer and I enjoy video games. You're a gamer too and you enjoy video games. Why are you attacking me?
Yeah, just get along, goddammit.
We're in the same boat. Doesn't matter what we play it on, what game we're playing. We're playing games and we're enjoying it, right? Now it's what was I gonna say? I keep doing this, I keep forgetting stuff. But yeah, we're gamers. Let's enjoy the games we play. We don't need to hate on. Oh, I don't like these games by Nintendo because I just don't like them. I mean, that's not true. I'm just giving an example.
One of the big examples that I have is recently Ingress was released for iOS, and the entire community went extremely polarized.
Elitism is usually not good, except for Android iOS because Android's obviously better.
They're just like, oh, people who play on iOS are stupid. People who have iPhones are dumb. People on iPhones aren't going to understand how to play the game. We should put people who have iPhones on a different team, and then we can crush them all the time, and it'll be great because they have iPhones and they're stupid. Like, literally, this is what I'm reading. It's awful. Why? Why do you care? It's another person who is playing Ingress. Who cares what device they're playing it on? It doesn't matter. Like, why are you making such a polarizing sort of thing for the community? It doesn't make sense. Like, it's already polar as it is with the two factions. Like, you already automatically hate the enemy faction. Why do you also have to hate a person who has a different device? Waste of time, waste of energy, stupid, and people should stop.
I get where they're basing it off very poor assumptions, but say their assumptions were correct, that people with iPhones are casual users. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to strategize. I can get it because those people have to be on your team and you have to deal with them. It's not like you can just join a different lobby. But
that assumption is bullshit.
No, that's what I said. I said if their assumptions were correct, then yes, I can understand their turmoil. But their assumptions are based off something that has no foundation. There's no truth to it yet, at least. Who knows? But there's no truth to what they're assuming. But if there was, I could see why they're upset. But there isn't.
Well, I mean, this comes back to when Ingress came out of beta. It came out of beta and it reached full release, and within a couple of weeks, there was a screen capture posted on the community. Remember, this is all Android. All Android devices. Somebody posted a picture of a screen capture from the Allcom. How do I move?
Yeah.
And the game is based entirely on the GPS location. Like, this is a major selling point for the game. You move around simply by walking. And people have said, how do I move? This game is stupid.
That was when it was on Android?
And that was when it's only Android. And you know what? You can't get dumber than that. So both sides have their idiots. Exactly.
It's game shaming is stupid to do. And now if you can back it up with basis, the reason, like there's an actual principle that is being broken or that is wrong. It's like buying clothing from a company that has sweatshops. Should you avoid doing that? Probably, because that's a bad principle to have. That is a bad practice. And informing other people of that is probably a good thing to do. Now, if they continue to support them, go ahead, but I'm not going to support their decision to do that, right? So, and I think that's obviously not to the same extent with what we were talking about before, but that's why sometimes we say, no, we actually don't like this game. So if you can back it up with basis, I think a game shaming, not in the sense of shaming someone, but saying a game isn't something you should have to someone else can be legitimate as long as you can prove those points and give a basis for what you're trying to say. But generalizing and saying that, oh, Mario games suck, why do you play Mario games, is stupid. That's just flat out stupid.
And there's a clear difference between being informative and it's like, you know, here's the legitimate information about this. Now you can make an informed decision about whether you or not you want to play this versus, oh, you're an idiot for playing that game. So it's an important distinction, and you know, just like everyone should be more thoughtful about doing that.
Yeah, and again with specifically the Candy Crush thing, we didn't kick you off the show. We didn't say we're not talking to you anymore. We let you know why we don't like, and we're it's
Guys,
up
it
to
didn't
you.
bother me. I'm okay.
But
and I'm still gonna probably wear
how's
it.
the eject button coming for the Hangouts, Google? How's that coming?
I've
It
actually
needs
got
like a flying animation where like my seat just lifts and has like a rocket.
Well, I've
Exactly.
got Raspberry Pi here. I've been working on it for the past week since she said that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think as with anything, if you can prove a legitimate reason to why you're saying something, all the best to you.
Mhm.
But in the end, you can't tell someone what they can and can't do.
Yeah, and just don't be a dickhead about it. Like, be factual and as neutral as possible and give them the power to choose, because that's the beauty of the variety of games that we have today, is that you can literally find anything for whatever you like.
Exactly. As we've proven, we've got Wii Fit for people that just want, not really even playing a game in the traditional sense, but they're trying to improve their health. And you look at, well, even on the phone, the Zombies Run game, it's meant to help people improving their health. Then you look at an older lady with brain age who's doing math problems to improve her mental abilities, and you look at us who are playing games because we just want to blow shit up. There's kids that are learning things. They're learning. We had a Winnie the Pooh game that would teach you numbers. It would teach you communication, different things like that. There's literally something for everyone out there to learn. So that's the beauty of video games, and there's literally something for everyone. Hashtag that ends the show.
Happy good feel time.
Yeah. So unless there's anything else you want to add on to either of your topics there, I think that's a good jumping off point, or jumping in point that we end things at. So if there's any last bits that you guys want to throw out there before we head off. No?
I had my rant. I'm good.
All right, beautiful. What we're going to do then is we're going to plug some social media stuff. We're going to give you some info, and we're going to sign off, and then we're going to discuss what we're doing with our game club for Far Cry. So pay attention to our social networks for that. But let's give you our social networks. We're going to go down the line and say goodbye to everyone that's been here with us today. We're going to start. Charles, you get to start this one. Charles, thanks for coming out today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. And
Glad
make sure
I'm
you
tolerable.
make sure you check out Charles on Twitter at cstovetop. That's cstovetop. Easy as that. And you can find him on Twitch, twitch.tv/cstove. So make sure you go watch him play some video games there, because that's what we do best. And
Regular
next to
promises to tweet more and stream more, etc.,
There you go.
etc.
Say things here. And next to him we've got Sarah, Yo Sarah. You can find her on Twitter, whatever you want. It's everything, literally everything.
Literally everything.
Literally everything. Not metaphorically, literally. Yo Sarah, that's YOSARAWR. Go check her shit. See what's up. Thanks for coming out, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And me, myself, I am LeafX. You can find me on, I'm in the same boat as her, literally everything. Go to LeafX. So for some odd reason, I have LeafXX on Steam and Skype. Those are the only two that have an extra X on the end, because apparently I wasn't original on those. And you can check us out in our previous episodes, youtube.com/gamersroundtable show. See all the previous stuff. We're 47. Episode 47 means there's 46 episodes you're missing out on that are behind there, so go check them out. Some may be out of date since we do talk about gaming news, but there's some good discussions that have been had in the past there. So make sure you go to that. We do this every week at 7 p.m. EDT on the Gamers Roundtable, this Google Plus, so go +1 it. You can find it on our Twitter. I'll tweet out when it's happening. You'll always know. 7 p.m. EDT on Wednesday.
Circle us and Google Plus.
Yes, +1 and circle. +1 and circle us. Yeah, Wednesday, 7 p.m. EDT. You can find us here. And we're also doing the game club, so make sure you pay attention to Twitters about that as well too. But with that, I think we're going to sign off and pay attention to our Twitters about the game club. And as always, keep gaming hard.
Yeah.
There's no quips.